As we look at the market this week or last week and trying to get ready for prediction into next week, a couple of things we want to look at. We're going to start with a moving average chart. You can see we've still got good distance between these moving averages here. You can also see I've drawn in a new trend line, weekly trend line right here, that it also provides support should we get some pullbacks. Yeah, I get right here. This was when the whole thing with Iran was going on. We had a big drop, and then it immediately showed strength and moved back up. Continued strength here Thursday. Friday we got some sell-off. So the question is, are we at a high point? Which if we were probably at it right here. And just good news took us up above it, even what that was. So Friday, did we have a sell-off here because we reached the high? We're going to start to get some consolidation and pullback. Or is this just investors not wanting to hold over the weekend, and when we hit Monday, the trend starts back? I'm going to take a look at a couple of more charts before I give my opinion of that. First of all, this is our wave chart. We're below this second ATR Keltner channel now, which means there could be some room for a move back up. But if I wanted to go long in ES, typically I would rather see a pullback closer into this area here. We had an opportunity to buy here when it came down. We had an opportunity to buy here. And even an opportunity here wasn't too bad. But of course it would have been scary had we gotten in and then the missiles got launched and you got stopped out here at overnight trading. So that would have been a scary one to be long on. But right here I'm not really thinking about going long just yet, just because of where it's at on the Keltner. Same with the Bollinger Bands. I would like to see a pullback below this 1 ATR band here. I do believe we've got pretty good support right here. I don't think we're going to see a complete turn in this market, especially not to break this trend line. In fact, I don't at this point expect it to be tested because this isn't a real candle. So that's one thing we have to keep in mind. I would like to see some sort of sideways move, and then maybe, if you wanted to go long, you could look at going long. I'm not going to as long as it's up here. But what I would do, and what I have done, is I've got some short calls up here as part of a strangle, because I do think we're running out of steam. But, this market is pushed higher and higher and higher. So, you just never know with this particular market. I haven't really seen one that has shown this much continual strength to the upside. Me, I wouldn't go long here, but I do think you can start looking for an opportunity to go long, especially if it pulls back a little bit more. You can consider it with consolidation. It's very possible that Monday, it could, shoot back up again if this sell-off was simply investors not wanting to hold over the weekend. If that's true, they'll be wanting to reopen their positions Monday morning. I have to wait and see how that plays out. Take a look at bonds. I had a good trade close out in bonds this week. You can check the channel to see that trade. I had actually entered it right on this candle. I did a calendar put spread, and I got out for my profit target, so I felt really good about that. As we look at what bonds are doing right now, we've moved back up above this 1 ATR. Now, I think that, and I'll look Monday to see what's going on, but I think there's a good possibility that, especially if we approach this trend line, that there could be an opportunity for another short trade here. I'm not going to place it just yet. I'll wait till Monday and take a look and see what I think's going on, and maybe price out another TLT bonds trade. But right here, we're moving back up, so we're getting into an area where if we believe this trend line, we're getting into an area where we could sell it again or even do another calendar put spread if we wanted to do that. And I am strongly considering it. I'll probably continue to look at that throughout the week next week. You're looking here at the wave chart. We're back above the top of the wave here. And if we believe we're in a downtrend, anywhere through here is a good opportunity to short on this one. Like I said, if you just use the one chart, you could argue you should short it now. But because I also use the Bollinger Band chart, I know that I've got this 2 ATR band right here, which is a much better place to short if we get up there. Looking at the moving averages, they're very consolidated. You got the 200 here. We just jumped above the 50. You're starting to get a little bit of change on this 10 EMA as it looks like it's about to cross. So there's a lot of indecision here, but I feel pretty confident with this trend line. And so I am expecting a move back down. So I'm going to be watching for that. And then, you know, what we've seen from there is a lot of chop. So I would expect support as this 200 comes up. I'm expecting support here. I'm not as confident, you know, with these trend lines. You know, I would say I probably like this one a little better because it had a little bit, it had, you know, a hit here, and a hit here. Yes, we broke below it, but we immediately got support back up. But I do believe this is the dominant trend line right now in bonds, especially if the market continues to consolidate or move back up. Let's take a look at IYT. I've got a short position in IYT. I've actually shorted the is a call credit spread. Expires on the 17th at 197 and 200. We got a good move down here. You know, this is actually a down trend line that I'm waiting to see if this provides support or we get below it and it gets back to resistance. So I am watching this very closely. I think from a fundamental standpoint, you know, I'm expecting the IYT to move down. I don't think this move up was indicative of what's really going on in transportation. But we're going to have to just wait and see. You know, fundamentally, the market is still overbought, and it still has continued to move up. So you got to be a little careful. You know, RSI on my IYT is right in the middle, so it really doesn't tell us anything. Again, I'm waiting to see if this is going to provide any support, or if it drop below it and get resistance. You've got the wave is actually moving up now, and in normal circumstances, if I'm just trading my system, I would be looking for opportunities to go long in IYT because of this wave here and this trend line right here, although we need to pull back further to it. However, this is one of those cases where I'm actually looking at fundamental things within the market, and I'm letting it override my technical analysis. I don't typically do that, so we'll see if that's going to be a mistake for me. I could always roll this 197-200 from January 17th to February 21st. I could even today or Monday, I should still go roll it for a credit if I want to. And I really do feel confident that we're not going to break these highs here just from a fundamental standpoint. Again, I'm basing that strictly on fundamentals, not necessarily technical. And you won't normally see me do that. This is one of the few times you see me do that. And we'll have to see if I'm right. But just looking at what's going on in the transportation market, I just really feel like this index is going to go down. And I do have some concerns of the overall market for the same reasons, although the home builders are looking really strong. So it's strange that the home builders are looking extremely strong and transportation is looking extremely weak. You know, both of those are leading indicators. I tend to rely more on transportation, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. You know, I still believe the market overall is overbought. I'm looking for opportunities to short it more so than to go long. For the most part, although as we looked at the ES, there would be an opportunity to go long here if it did consolidate or pull back a little bit more, and I would probably take that. But on IYT, I'm still looking to short. Even though my technical analysis tells me there's some long potential here, I just really can't do it. This was a decent long signal right here. If you wanted to go long, this was a decent long signal. This was a very good long signal if you wanted to go long. And I saw all of these. It's just that I really felt that it should fundamentally pull back. But that's also why I did a call credit spread. You know, I took my profits if it just consolidates or moves down. As long as it doesn't go through my credit spread, I'm fine. And that's why I chose that as opposed to buying a put or doing a put debit spread. I basically increased my odds of being right because I didn't have to be 100% right in order to make my profit. But anyway, that's what I see going on in the market. If you like this video, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below. I try to answer them all as soon as I can.